students. Today we will learning about an overview of cell. An overview. In your previous period, you have been learned about the definition of the cell as well as in a cell theory. And next to the definition of the cell as well as in a cell theory, you have to learn in detail about the cell. You come across with the definition of the cell that it is a fundamental basic unit of structure and function of an organism, that is called as a cell, and how it looks externally as well as internally, that is we call it as overview, not considering with only one cell, the cell of all the organisms. So we generally call it as a generalized cell, right? Individual cell have its own uniqueness, but all the cell contains the same constitutions exception of some things. That exception of some things we will get it into, however we will go on studies during the plant anatomy, morphological structure of a plant physiology, right? So under this overview of a cell, as you learned, the cells are of two types on the basis of a presence and absence of a nuclear membrane. If the nuclear membrane is absent, that is called as a prokaryote cell, or in general we can say that underdeveloped nucleus without a nuclear membrane. So how it can be defined as a cell without a nuclear membrane is called as prokaryotic cell, or a cell with underdeveloped nuclear membrane is called as prokaryote cell. Whereas these prokaryote cell consist of, it may consist of a cell wall, it may consist of a cell membrane, they are the membranes. But it contains only one cell organelle called as ribosomes. Rest of other cell organelles will not be present in it. Whereas another type of a cell called as a eukaryotic cell or eukaryote cell, the cell with the well-developed nuclear membrane. The cell with well-developed nuclear membrane is called as a eukaryote cell. And this eukaryote cell also contains a cell membrane, a plasma membrane. They are the common things. But this will not have a nuclear membrane, but this have a nuclear membrane. Developed nuclear membrane will be present. That is on the basis of that prokaryote cell and the eukaryote cell. So prokaryote cell containing organisms has been kept in only one kingdom called as kingdom Monera. Whereas the rest of other four kingdoms like kingdom Protista, Mycota, Plantae, Animalia, these four kingdoms contains eukaryote cell. And these eukaryote cell contain small parts called as bits. Biologically they are called as organelles. So small bits of the cell or smaller parts present inside the cell which perform individual functions, they are called as cell organelle. The cell organelles present in eukaryote cell is endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, ribosomes, lysosomes, mitochondria, microbodies, vacuoles, centrioles, plastids, like that. Many were there. You will learn them separately during prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell in detail. But these are the cell organelles. These all cell organelles are freely suspended in a watery like material. I am using a word watery like material. I did not use a word completely water. Watery like material is nothing but it is a 99% of water with the minerals, salts, dissolved contents in it. So we consider it as a watery like material which is responsible for biochemical reactions. So that is called as a cytosol. That cytosol is generally called as a cytoplasm. What is it called as cytoplasm? ನೀವು ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಡೇಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈಟೋಪ್ಲಾಸಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕಲಿತಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೈಯರ್ ಸ್ಟಡೀಸ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ cytosol, you can say, where biological reactions were taking place. Respiration will take place, protein synthesis will take place, excretion will take place. These all were taking place in the cytosol with the different cell organelles. How we have to study that is now under this cell structure and function. So this cytosol is covered by the envelope, outer border envelope, called as cell membrane. It is also called as a plasma membrane. These are common for all the cells, maybe plant cell, animal cell, fungal cell, any cell. Apart from that, one more envelope will be there, that we learn in a later, like a cell wall. Understand? So in this way, prokaryote cell and eukaryotic cell. So you come to know here in this part, you have learned that the two different type of cells are there, classified on the basis of presence and absence of a nuclear membrane. If nuclear membrane is absent in the nucleus of a cell, that cell is called as prokaryotic cell. Example, bacterial cells. All bacteria are best example for this. Eukaryotic cell are the cell which contain well developed nucleus or well organized nucleus with developed nuclear membrane is called as eukaryotic cell. That contains these all cell organelles. That's all. Right? Whereas we have to study in detail of prokaryote cell and the eukaryote cell. We will go for study about prokaryotic cell. Right? Complete history of prokaryotic cell. So when you will go for study of this prokaryotic cell, first of all you must know the definition. You got the definition of prokaryotic cell is a cell which contain underdeveloped nucleus without a nuclear membrane. That is called as prokaryotic cell. Which are the example for the prokaryotic cell? Mycoplasm gallisepticum. This is the smallest cell on the earth. Mycoplasm gallisepticum is the smallest cell on the earth. Neat level question. Ivaga nodri first PUC ivaga kalitira, second PUC aada nantara neat examination ge ee question barutte. Which of the following cell is the smallest cell on the earth? A, B, C, D. Ivaga takkanu ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ because you are remembering now. After 1 week ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನೆನಪಿರುತ್ತೆ. Then think about that. That is why memory is very essential for biology. Memory is very essential. So mycoplasm gallisepticum, just 0.3 micrometer in its length. 0.3 micrometer. ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ನಜರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ದಾಗೂ ಕಾಣಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ದಾಗ ಹಾಕಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ. ಅಷ್ಟು ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಇರೋದು. Without a naked eye, with a naked eye you cannot see. With the electron microscope only you can see this mycoplasm gallisepticum. When the comparison of this smallest cell, then which is the largest cell? Ostrich cell. This ostrich cell is not a prokaryotic cell, it is a eukaryotic cell. That is secondary. We will go for the, but you have to remember, ostrich egg of an ostrich this much big will be there. Egg of ostrich is this much big. Kumbalaka iddange irtade, pumpkin. That much big cell, it is one cell. You can see with the naked eye. ನೀವು ತತ್ತೆ ಹೊಡೆದು ತಿಂತೀರಾ ಆಮ್ಲೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು, that is also a single cell which can be seen through the help of the naked eye. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮಾ ಮೆಂಬ್ರೇನ್ ನೋಡಬಹುದು, ಸೆಲ್ ವಾಲ್ ನೋಡಬಹುದು, ಸಾರಿ ಏನು ಶೆಲ್ ನೋಡಬಹುದು, ಶೆಲ್. ಬಟ್ ಮೈಟೊಕಾಂಡ್ರಿಯಾ ಕಾಣಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಂಡೋಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮಿಕ್ ರೆಟಿಕ್ಯುಲಮ್, ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್. That again you have to go through with the what is it? Microscope usage. So in that way, a prokaryotic cell, the smallest cell is mycoplasmas. Mycoplasm gallisepticum is the smallest cell, and the prokaryotic cells like bacteria, mycoplasms, as well as one more is there. That is what we call it as a PPLO. PPLO. Most important question for 1 mark. Pleuropneumonia-like organism. It is called as a pleuropneumonia-like organism. PPLO. Most important question for 1 mark. Expand PPLO anta kelbodri. Neat level question idu. PPLO, pleuropneumonia-like organisms, belongs to this prokaryote. Now you come to know that prokaryotic cell definition. What is it defined as? A cell with underdeveloped nuclear membrane is called as a prokaryotic cell. Or you can say that a cell without a nuclear membrane is called as a prokaryotic cell. Right? So example for that is mycoplasm, and it is also the smallest cell. And second example, all bacteria. And third example, PPL, pneumonia-like organisms. They are the best example for prokaryotic cell. Now it is a generalized structure of a prokaryotic cell. We will go for study what prokaryotic cell is. So you are looking, I am not showing you this first, I am going to be showing this one. You are looking this. This is the cell wall. Cell wall is present. Thick cell wall. And below that cell wall there is a presence of one more thin membrane, that is called as plasma membrane. What you can call it as a plasma membrane. And this plasma membrane, under this plasma membrane there is the presence of a fluid material called as cytoplasm. And inside this cytoplasm, the cell organelles are present. They are called as ribosomes, as well as fat droplets, as well as plasmid. And these all are covered with the help of such a type of a membrane called as a capsule. This capsule may be present, may not be present. If this capsule is present, then the bacteria are called as virulent. Virulent means they cause disease. Disease causing organisms only contain capsule. And if this capsule did not present, then they are called as encapsulated. They are called as a non-virulent. So it may be present, it may not be present, depends on the species. Depends on the species. One example, if I have two bacteria, I will tell you. One is E. coli bacteria. E. coli bacteria. This E. coli bacteria, Escherichia coli bacteria are present in the colon of human being. ನಮ್ಮ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಗದ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕರುಳಿನ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಈ ಎಸ್ಚರೇಷಿಯಾ ಕೊಲೈ ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವುಗಳಿಗೆ ಈ ತರನಾದಂತಹ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಸ್ಯೂಲ್ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ರೋಗ ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೌಲ್ಸ್ ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದೇ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಎಸೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್. For example, another one, Salmonella typhi, that contains the capsule. It is going to be causing a disease called as a typhoid. So the presence and absence of a capsule, capsulated and encapsulated. If they are containing capsule, they are virulent. Virulent is nothing but they cause a disease. If the capsule is absent, they are not virulent, they do not cause the disease. So all bacteria are not a disease causing one. That depends on this capsule. Right? Whereas the second comes the cell wall. It is a non-living thing. Right? Whereas the third one is plasma membrane. And this plasma membrane is having inner infold. ಒಳಗಡೆ fold ಆಗಿದೆ. So these inner infold are said to be as mesosome. Most important question for 1 mark. These mesosome, through the help of these mesosome, these bacteria will respire. They are helpful for respiration. So respiratory organ of bacteria are mesosome anta consider madare. Through the help of the mesosome, the bacteria will respire. And within that there is a presence of a first cell organelle called as a nucleus. Is this nucleus contain a nuclear membrane? No. That is why it is called as prokaryotic cell. Then what can you call it as? Nucleoid. Nucleoid anta karitare. The naked DNA is called as a nucleoid. This naked DNA, it is a DNA, deoxyribose nucleic acid, which is acting as a genetic material of this bacteria, which contain genes. Understand? That is the importance of this nucleus. Right? Apart from from the nucleus, there is a presence of a ribosome, and these ribosomes are protein factories of the cell. Apart from that, there is a presence of a fat droplets. They are stored food material in the bacterial cell. And then there is a small circular structures were there. They are called as a plasmid. Most important one it is for NEET level as well as for your second PUC. Plasmids are extracircular DNA, that is a DNA. ಅದು DNA ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು DNA ಇದೆ. Extracircular DNA present in the cytoplasm of the bacteria, and it is having a self-replicating. Self-replicating ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಇದ್ದದ್ದು ಎರಡು ಇದ್ದದ್ದು ನಾಲ್ಕು ತನ್ನ ಪಾಡಿಗೆ ತಾನೇ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. That is called as a replication. ಅದನ್ನ ಡಿಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿತಾರೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ PUC ದಲ್ಲಿ molecular basis of inheritance ದಲ್ಲಿ. ರೈಟ್, ಬಯೋಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇದು ಒಂದು ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು ಇದು ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮಿಡ್ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಜೀನ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಇನ್ಸುಲಿನ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ. ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ನ? ಮೆನಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸರ್ವೈವಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮಿಡ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮಿಡ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ extracircular DNA present in the cytoplasm of the bacteria, self-replicating one. So ಇದರ ನಾವು ಡೆಫಿನಿಷನ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, self-replicating extracircular DNA present in the cytoplasm of the bacteria is called as plasmid. Once again I am telling you that extracircular, ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಇದೆ, ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ದುಡ್ಡಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ, ರೌಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. Extracircular DNA present in the cytoplasm of the bacteria. Right? Extracircular present in the cytoplasm, self-replicating. That is called plasmid. And all along with that, there is a long hair-like structure that is called as a flagella. The long hair-like structure called as a flagella. So in this is the structure of a prokaryotic cell. In the next clip, we'll go for a study the eukaryotic cell. Right? We'll see it in the next video. Thank you.